It starts with the situation already boiling over online, allegations, leaked stories, and the wider friend group being pulled into the spotlight. At this point, the focus isn't just on Sykkuno anymore, but on how the people closest to him are reacting behind the scenes and publicly. Then a new angle drops. A clip begins circulating of Scara speaking about the situation, and it immediately adds another layer, sharing in the following.
Yesterday, there were some accusations thrown out at a friend of mine, Sykkuno, and they're pretty damning. I don't really have much to add to this that isn't super already out there. Overall, the only thing I really want to say is that I really don't condone cheating. You hate it. I really am. Everyone's talked about how they're disappointed with him. I feel like stacking that makes no sense. I am most concerned about essentially his girlfriend as well as Lily. I actually feel really bad for them as well as any of the girls who've come out and spoken up about it. Shocked he has a girlfriend. Been around this guy for 7 years, never knew that. I'll say a little bit more because I am a little bit closer to this situation than others. I know an okay amount of YouTubers. I talked to a lot of them, and I reached out yesterday to some of them and asked about the situation. Maybe he didn't treat some people correctly or something. I never asked for details, and honestly no one would tell me the details because I'm really close to him, and of course no one's tell me anything, right? You think he'll still be friends with him? Realistically, I don't deserve, like, you guys don't deserve the answer to that. I will figure it out, but like as of right now I'm not very much interested in hanging out or interacting with him. It is what it is.
First, you get the people questioning the Lily angle entirely. Some are confused why she's even being brought into it so heavily. Now, their stance is that this situation has nothing to do with her directly, and they don't understand why she's receiving emotional pressure or being dragged into conversations around Sykkuno's actions. To them, the audience is overreaching, projecting responsibility onto someone who isn't actually involved in what happened. Then, you get the empathetic side, which leans heavily in Lily's favor. This group takes Scara's comments and uses them to reinforce the idea that people close to the situation are also shocked. They frame Lily as someone caught in the middle of betrayal within her own circle, arguing that even if she wasn't directly involved, she's still emotionally affected. The tone here is protective, saying she deserves better people around her and a stronger support system. But right alongside that, another group pushes back hard, focusing on credibility and consistency. These people don't really care about the emotional side. Instead, they question everything: Scara's comments, the timing, and the wider narrative. Some argue that words don't mean much without action, pointing out past situations within the same friend group and suggesting there's a pattern of selective accountability. Others downplay the situation entirely, saying at the end of the day it's just cheating, not something that should be blown up to this level. Then there's a more skeptical crowd that zooms in on one specific detail: the hidden girlfriend. This group finds it strange that someone so close to Sykkuno didn't know about a long-term relationship. That raises doubts for them, either about how private he was or about how much people around him actually knew. Some even question whether parts of the story are being exaggerated or misunderstood because of that gap. And finally, you get the group that's just tired of the discourse altogether. A clip begins circulating of xQc reacting to the situation, and instead of piling on, he takes a different stance. He makes it clear that cheating is wrong, but pushes back on how the story is being framed. Specifically, he questions the way the allegations are being escalated and how certain labels are being used, suggesting that the narrative might be going further than what's actually been proven, sharing in the following.
We can confirm at least 2 different people that were completely misled by him as he cheated on his girlfriend so comfortably. In those 2 instances, we can see him also using the same playbook, the same tactics, sending them money, making them feel special, following their personal Instagram, wanting to meet ASAP, to hook up, everything. And
it's not a tactic if the person is asking for, brother, it's not a tactic about money. If the person is asking for money and bait to receive money, you cannot say this. It has to be unprompted, unwarranted. It has to be, and even if it has to be after reluctance and resistance, that's the moment where it would be wrong. If the person says, well, I don't think I should be taking this, and you still do it, wrong. But if the person says, well, guys, I'm trying to buy a bike, and I'm saying this because it's just a story, but I'm buying a bike right now, right? And I don't have enough money. You're a bazillionaire. I don't know why I'm telling you this about our chat, but I know you're a bazillionaire, right? But I don't have money, and I need money to buy this. Oh my God, you give me money. What the heck? Dude, stop love bombing me, dude. Off. Just
I
stop
think
it.
one thing that firstly struck me was how only 30 minutes after his girlfriend found out about his cheating and probably confronted him, he chose to run upstairs.
First, you get the group that fully agrees with xQc. They latch on to the idea that the situation has been overblown. In their eyes, this is fundamentally a cheating scandal that's been turned into something far more serious than it should be. They question the people involved, pointing out that some still wanted to be involved with him even after everything, and argue that the only clear victim in the situation is his girlfriend. For them, xQc is just saying what others are afraid to say. Then, you get the group that focuses on the behavior of the people around Sykkuno. This side digs into details from the call and the doc, pointing out moments that felt inconsistent or opportunistic. They question intentions, why things were recorded, how they were released, and whether some individuals were still willing to engage with him despite the accusations. To them, the situation isn't black and white, and xQc highlighting that makes sense. But on the other side, there's a group that rejects that framing entirely. They don't see this as overblown, they see it as being downplayed. To them, calling it just cheating ignores the bigger context, and they believe shifting focus onto the women involved is deflection. This group views xQc's take as minimizing the seriousness of what happened rather than adding clarity. At this point in the story, the situation around Sykkuno has already gone through multiple phases. Allegations, the doc being posted, the recorded call surfacing, and then reactions from creators and the wider community. What started as a cheating controversy has now evolved into something much bigger. That's when Tectone steps in and adds fuel to that exact angle. Instead of focusing purely on the cheating allegations, he shifts attention toward the surrounding circle. His argument is blunt. He doesn't buy the idea that people who were close to Sykkuno for years had no clue about a girlfriend. Tectone shares in the following.
Are people just allergic to telling the truth? I swear to God, there is no way that you are best friends with someone for 6 years and you never heard, never seen, never knew about a girlfriend. I understand this must be the coordinated story that they all are saying that they're sharing. This is a complete bold-faced lie. That is not a thing. Brother, you live together. That there is no way this is possible. There's no way. Stop lying. Come on. Just tell the truth. The situation isn't even that bad. Come the f on.
xQc gives Sykkuno dating advice years ago.
You got any like advice?
Yo.
Say to, me and Toast, we're
It's kind of like roulette, you know. You wanna go to the table and put your chips on multiple positions, and hopefully one of them pays off. Hopefully the better one. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
So what? It's like you put on multiple. You mean?
You bet on multiple squares, and you just hope that the ball lands on the good one. And if it doesn't, well, you still have side bets, you know. Yo, BZ. Dude, the girls are into you 100%.
Can I get a welcome to the jungle?
Dude. You could get a girlfriend a date for like a whole year if you just... What? Yeah, man. Chat. I trained the man well, chat. Guys. I gave him some golden advice and he took it to heart, man. What can I say?
Rest in peace!